What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you stopping by for the first time, do me a real quick favor. See that red subscribe button down below? Go ahead and push that and show your support for the channel. Those of you stopping by that have been here before, welcome back to TLTG Reviews, my friends. Glad you came to see me. So, it's a little overdue. Not long overdue, but a little overdue. Actually reviewing one of my favorite fragrances today in celebration of Dior Week, because we're still in the midst of Dior Week. Stay tuned. Like I said, one of my favorite fragrances, my favorite from this specific line, hell, my favorite from the House of Christian Dior. What are we talking about today? Dior Homme Parfum. This is magic in a bottle. It is so freaking good. I love smelling myself when I'm wearing this. I absolutely was so happy all day long having this fragrance on. So, release year on this was 2014. And we've been over the presentation before. And this one actually gets a half a point better than I typically give. A little bit better scoring than I typically give for the Dior Homme bottles. Because the color of the juice, the style, the glass is more stout on the base. The cap's a little bit darker and less transparent than Dior Homme Intense. The juice color is just so dark and so beautiful. Darkens up on the sides, darkens up on the bottom. This is, without it, let me put that right there so you can see that. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, the nicest of the Dior Homme line bottles. 75 ml. For that, on the presentation, giving this one a 9 out of 10. Scent. So, try something a little different. Instead of sitting here reading off all the notes, I'll just put them right here. You can read them if you choose to. So what do I get from it? So in the opening, you're getting a blast of animalic leathery iris. This is a little bit more animalic than some are gonna like. I don't find it's real bad, but it's a raw leather for sure. It's a little bit animalic. You get the powdery lipsticky iris. You get a hint of orange in the background. It's not really a citrus heavy opening in the forefront. And then you get a little bit of the ambrette. You get a tiny bit of the musk mallow lingering in the background. Then once the transition hits, that rose and the oud really start to come up. It gets a little rougher, a little rawer from the oud. The rose is very, very deep. I don't find it to be real dusty, but it's very, very deep of a rose. If you smelled a deep rose fragrance before, you understand what I'm talking about. I don't really get the cedar, and the sandalwood doesn't really come out till later, I find. But the iris and the leather and the ambrette and the rose and oud are really the stars of this transition, because it takes a little while to get to the dry down. And then once you get into that dry down, like I said, it's a musky, creamy sandalwood. That ambrette's very, very prominent in the dry down. Sandalwood comes up, it gets a lot creamier. And the leather really softens up quite a bit in the dry down. It's not, I find the animalic edge that the leather has goes away when you get into the dry down and the deep dry down. The rose kind of fades off. The orange is long gone. But the iris is still there, just ever so faintly. It's not heavy. And it's just a beautiful smell from start to finish. It does transition. It does change. It's not linear at all. For the scent on this one, I'm giving Dior Homme Parfum a 9 out of 10. Longevity. It's a superstar. It's beyond 12 hours. Let me give you an example. I actually forgot to wear my watch today. What time is it? There we go over there, 10:30. I sprayed it on at 7. It's 15 and a half hours after I sprayed this on my chest. Okay? It's still creamy sandalwood. It's beyond 12 hours. Anything beyond 12 hours is automatically a 10 out of 10. Projection. It's relatively heavy for a few hours. You're not filling a room. Now that first 30 minutes, you're kind of filling a room, really and truly. But after that 30 minutes, it starts coming in within range and you have a scent bubble. Let me back up a little bit and see if I can get it in the frame to where right here within arm's length all the way around you, everybody's smelling you for a good 2 hours, solid. Just far as my arms will stretch, you can easily smell me all the way around that type of radius. Then for about another 2 hours, you're right in here. You're walking by, you got a strong scent trail. People are getting wafts and whiffs, and just, it's hitting them. There's no way around it. People are gonna smell you when you wear this. But it's not filling a room for hours and hours. Just the scent trail stays really strong for a long time. So it can't go into that 9 and 10 area. So it really stays as an 8 out of 10. Overall, Dior Homme Parfum is absolutely a 9 out of 10 fragrance to me. This is amazing. If you can get your hands on it, get your hands on it. It's not cheap. If you want to get a sample or a decant, you got to hunt that down. There's people that handle that in the Facebook groups, on eBay, and all these different places. Because if you're just going to jump on a bottle, the 75 mLs, the price has gone up because all that's in production now are the 100 mLs. I've heard it's reformulated. I've heard it's not reformulated. My money's on it's reformulated. How often do they change a bottle size and not reformulate the juice? Because this has been around for 6 years now. 5 years, because they started the production late 19 on these 100 mLs. So 5 years they went with this formula. I'm sure it got a mild reformulation somewhere along the way, but I'm pretty confident the juice that's in this bottle is not the same formula that's in the 100 mLs. So if you can find the 75 ml, I would say that's the better bet, because this is going to be more accurate to what you've heard everybody talk about, because everybody that's talked about this on YouTube, in the fragrance groups, on social media, they're talking about this 75 ml bottle. Oh my God, and it is so good. This is one of the highest rating fragrances I've ever given, and this is one of the highest recommendation fragrances I can make to anybody. I love it. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to like an animalic leather. You have to like lipsticky iris. Hell, you have to like the Dior Homme line in general, really and truly. This is the deepest, darkest, most mature, most formal of the group. You can go black tie. This is not something you're going to want to wear a t-shirt with. I mean, confident individual, you can wear whatever the hell you want at any given time, and it's not going to be a big deal. I mean, you can throw a tank top on and spray this and own it. If you want to own it, you can own it. By all means, you go ahead, goddamn. You know what I mean? But proper situations for this, I would say you're going Oxford or better, really and truly. Night out on the town. I mean, I'm wearing an Oxford. It's just so cold out today. That's why the beanie was just when I was outside. But inside, I was not wearing this beanie, obviously, in a little LSU action. But a little bit on the mature side. I can't really see too many young bucks outside of Dallas from Chaos Fragrances liking this, because that young buck's got a mature taste when it comes to fragrances, for sure. Shout out to Dallas. Like I said, can't recommend it enough. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have this? How many of you have tried this? Do you love it as much as I do? Do you agree with my rating system? Or do you hate this fragrance? Do you despise it? I mean, not everybody likes everything. This gets a lot of rave reviews because it's so good, but I'm positive there's people out there that can't stand this fragrance and would never buy it. I was lucky enough, a guy that I steadily get from in the Facebook fragrance groups, from time to time was getting a stock of these last year, and I bought a bottle. I blind bought this. I just knew I was going to like it. Sure enough, got it in. My God, did I love it. Immediately, the next time he got some in, which was about a month later, I bought a backup bottle. There's a backup bottle sitting underneath those PlayStation icon logos right there. And then after that batch, he hasn't had the 75 ml since. I think briefly he had some of the 100 mLs recently, but that's the only time I've seen it. So, like I said, not the easiest thing to get a hold of right now. They're getting scarce, these 75 ml bottles. If you can get it, the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to find, the more expensive it will be. I'm not by all means telling you to rush out and blind buy this. Not everybody's bold and brave like I am when it comes to blind buying more expensive fragrances. That's just how I roll. I like to do it like that. It's fun to me. And if I don't like it, I'll do something else with it. But the collector in me, I still like having stuff like this. But I will say, If you get your hands on Dior Homme Parfum and you give it a spray now, I am extremely confident that you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.